making sure you guys can get to your second action, your third action, and is it something that you guys can just correct, or was it something Michigan State was doing to kind of force you guys not to get in those second, third progressions?
I think it's something that we can correct. I feel like we kind of just went into it, and if the first read wasn't there, we just all kind of stood around and just watched. And so I think it was just one of those things that we just, as a collective group, need to be better about getting to our next actions and getting our flow and getting the ball moving.
Bennett said post game that he noticed that they made you play from the outside as they kind of congested the lane and kept you guys from going inside. Do you agree with that? And did you guys see that on film?
Yeah, we knew they were going to do that, and so we worked on things to try and combat that. And I think we just didn't execute, and you might be able to say that was part of the atmosphere and whatnot. But we just weren't really thinking about what we were supposed to do, and we worked on those certain things. So we just got to go out there and execute them.
Was that the craziest atmosphere you've played in?
Yeah, I think that. I mean, so far that's probably the best one I've been in. It was rocking. The students are kind of right next to you, yelling at you the whole game. But I mean, I love it, and I think we're going to continue to get used to it, and it'll be fun for us going forward.
Ames will be similar next week. So
yeah, no, we're all looking forward to that. But right now we got this game against Maryland on Saturday, so we're 100% in on that game and just taking it one game at a time.
I'll say, what's the key to kind of balancing, utilizing that loss and remembering it, but also trusting the process, maybe utilizing that motivation moving forward, but using it in a good way? How do you kind of balance trusting the process versus doing that?
I would just say, just feeling how we felt after the game and remembering that feeling and trying to avoid that, and then also just making sure that we're very paying attention to what we're doing in practice and making sure that we're executing everything we put in, because our coaches put in a great game plan for us. They spent a lot of time, a lot of film, making sure they put us in the perfect positions, and it's just on us to go out there and execute those things.
Can you explain when your decision-making process, when you're setting ball screens and you're deciding which side to set the screen?
So it just kind of depends on what side I'm setting it on. If I'm sending it into a one side or a two side, just so I know if Bennett's going into a one side, then there's less tags, and then two sides, and there's more tags, and just kind of figure out the reads from there. And then, just in the pocket, just reading where they're in coverage, and that kind of just tells me what I want to do off of that.
How does Ben teach that stuff?
I mean, he kind of he walks us through it a lot, and then eventually just kind of gets ingrained in your mind. You start to really see it yourself. So he just continues to walk us through and continues to tell us, and he really slows it down. I think yesterday we spent, I don't even know how long, just walking through offensive stuff, just trying to see all the different reads, and he explains it really well to us.
Go ahead, you're good.
All right, talking about Maryland from an offensive standpoint, and you guys are trying to rebound from the performance against Michigan State. What are some things you've seen from Maryland from their defense standpoint that might pose a challenge to you guys?
They do a lot of, I'm trying to think. I mean, they're a big team, athletic, and they play hard. And they're a really good offensive rebounding team. So we'll just have to make sure we do our little things with boxing out. And I think, focusing on our offensive flow and our defensive spacing, those will be big for us. And if we just execute the little things that we didn't really execute against Michigan State, we'll be successful in this game.
Does Ben, the way that he teaches the screening, is it different than what you did at Wyoming?
Yeah, both of him and Coach Linder are very particular, but it is a little different. And they both have their own ways of kind of figuring out where they want the screens and the spacings, but they do a really good job of that. And so with Coach Mack, he just puts us in the best positions. And I've just kind of started to figure out what he's been teaching us and, try to find the best angles and best ways to set the screens and how to get open and, open up the offense.
How long did it take you to kind of grasp it?
It took me a while. I'm still just now, even a year and a half in, starting to figure out okay, I'm really seeing this. And so you just kind of slowly figure out more new things. Even last year we had 5-year guys, and they're like, okay, well, we're still learning. So, it's just an ever learning, process of just continuing to learn and just continue to get better.